the shell extractor is not working very good. I don't know if it's the way that I cut it, and I haven't cut enough relief in it, or you know what it is. I might be able to get the bug out, but who knows anyway. It fits in there like that, and I made this device to stick up in here, and it's going to line up with this hole right here. So it's going to go in there like that. Okay, so let's get a shell.
You like pushing her away.
So anyway, I'm going to put a shell in there. Put a shell right there. And I'm going to pull that back like that. Flip it over. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this in here. Drop this down in there. It should hold that like that. And then we'll just fire it.
You haven't even told her that you have
like that.
Sex change thing.
And as you can see, it definitely fires.
That's why I read the name.
The next thing that I'm going to be working on is going to be the projectile that's going to come off the end of it. And what I'm thinking about doing is
wow, she's 15.
using these.
I love that because you were like, what is her
and basically they're just tennis balls. And went and bought these tonight.
That's what I'm saying.
And the plan is going to be to take and mount the tennis ball right on the very end of this thing, and have it launch the ball and carry a string line with it. So that's going to be the next thing I'm going to do is adapt that to do that. You pull this down and that slides forward. But as you can see, it didn't eject the shell. The shell's still in there. And basically, I've just been knocking it out with the bit that I used to drill it. I'm gonna have to get something to remedy that. You can see it come right on out. And I may be able to, I may be able to take the file and file a little bit of relief right there, and that might make that extractor start working like it's supposed to. I don't know. It's one of them things, you just kind of gotta play with it, get it to work. But yeah, I like that because I can, I can hold that and fire it. Works pretty good. Anyway, like I said, the next thing is going to be figuring out the projectile, and exactly how I'm going to make the tennis ball work. Because I'm not real sure about, how the tennis ball is gonna do. It may not work at all. I don't know.
Please.
Okay. Rigged up a tennis ball, and it's got a piece of PVC pipe. Now I haven't glued it or anything, and it's just stuck in there. I probably will end up putting an epoxy, at least on the one end, and close it off. And I'm thinking that will give it a little bit more power. But just for shits and giggles, I decided that I wanted to go ahead and fire this thing off and see exactly what it's going to do before I do put the epoxy in there. So I'm going to take refuge. I got the dog out of the way, and I'm going to hook up a rope to this thing and see if I can't take refuge behind a trash can or something and try to fire this thing off. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but find out. Fire in the hole. Okay, it did fire it off. But basically what happened was the PVC pipe stayed on. It did not leave with the ball. Let me go get the ball. Okay, here's the ball. And basically what it did, it shot it right off of the PVC pipe. Okay. And it didn't go real far. It went maybe 50 feet, if that. Okay. And what I'm thinking is, I'm going to plug one end of this with epoxy, probably JB Weld. One end of this closed. And then once that dries, I'm going to put some more JB Weld on that, put some JB Weld on this, and then push it up in there and let it adhere itself to this side and around here. Okay? And then stick it on there and see how far that goes. It's still probably not going to go real far because it's not a perfect fit right here. And so my plan is going to be, ultimately, I'll probably turn a groove on this and put an O-ring on it so that I can get a good suction fit. And then that should give it enough back pressure to launch it a pretty good little ways. So anyway, that's where I'm at on it right now at this point. Like I said, it did send it off, but just didn't send it off far enough, and I kind of felt like it was going to do pretty much what it did without without sealing it up and making it more permanent into this ball. But tennis ball is pretty light, so I'm thinking the tennis ball is maybe the way to go. I don't know. We'll find out. Trial and error. All right. Okay, so we're back, and it's the plug that's in there is dry, relatively dry enough that we can proceed on. Anyway, it's still a little soft. You can see my fingernail print going in there, but it's hard enough that we can go ahead on with the next phase. I chucked it up on the lathe and turned the wood part completely off to get down to the JB Weld, and it's I'll be honest with you, I pulled the thing off and put a little bit more in there, probably about twice the original amount. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a little bit here that's going to go on the inside, and I cleaned this with brake clean. So I sprayed the PVC pipe with brake clean, and also where the JB Weld is, I sprayed with brake clean. And now we're just going to mix up some more. This is going to act as the bonding agent to bond this PVC pipe to the inside of the tennis ball. get a nice little bit up on here if I can get it to stay. And we're just gonna slide it right on into the bowl, push it all the way back against the back like so. And hopefully this will adhere on there. And I'm just going to leave my stick right here with a nice little glob on it. Nice little thick glob on there. And basically that's going to tell me when it's pretty much hard enough that I can try it out. It's going to probably take a little while for it to dry. It's not gonna dry real fast, that's for sure. All right, I'm I can't wait any longer. I hope the glue is probably not set up completely, the JB Weld, but I'm just such an impatient fucker. I'm dying to see what this thing is gonna do. So, I'm gonna go ahead and see how far it'll launch this thing now. Hopefully I'll get it recorded. But here goes. Okay, still not very far. The JB Weld obviously was not set up enough. Anyway, that's what I get for rushing. So, it's back to the drawing board, I guess. Alright, well, part of the fun of having a lathe is experimenting with different things and trying to see what's going to work for you. Still working on this string line launcher, and I was trying to use this piece of PVC pipe, and basically what happened was every time I would fire it, it would shoot the JB Weld out the end of the pipe, and the pipe would stay on the end of the barrel. What I really wanted was it was inside the ball like this, and I wanted this thing to take off, you know, off of here and going through the air with the ball. And it just wasn't happening for whatever reason. I really don't know why, but that's, you know, what experimenting is all about. So after thinking about it for a while, I was, you know, sometimes you can overthink these things. But anyway, the weight, this thing doesn't weigh very much, and if I did get it over a limb with the string on it, it might not have enough weight to come on down to the, you know, where I need to tie my rope on. So I decided if I make one out of steel, then I could actually make it where I didn't need to, you know, fill the end in at all. I can leave the end of it solid, which is what I did. Basically, I took this piece of steel and I machined a hole in it, and the PVC pipe fit on there a little bit tight, so I machined this hole a little bit looser. Okay, and the end of it is still solid, so it's solid, you know, a good little ways down. You know, probably about that far right there is solid, so I don't have to worry about blowing the end of it out. That's for sure. it fits on there relatively loose, and my theory is that because this other piece fit on there snug, it was dragging and not allowing it to come off. Now, you know, I did a couple test fires and whatnot, and had various different problems. With it loose, you know, it doesn't seem to want to travel quite as far. So what I came up with was maybe I'm going to put some O-rings in there, and then I'll just have one point that is snug that will let the gas pressure build up. But once it's over that one point, then it should launch it on through the air pretty good. So I went up to Advanced Auto and picked up some O-ring kit, and of course I want all my measurements are standard measurements, and the O-rings are, of course, what they had was metric. But you know, hey, we're going to go on the principle of KISS. K-I-S-S. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Basically, what I did is I measured this slide area, which is, you know, what the projectile is going to slide off of. I measured the outside diameter of that, and it's just under a ½ inch. Okay, so I just grabbed an O-ring out of here that will fit on here relatively snug. Okay, and I'm just going to chuck this up in the lathe over there and cut a groove in there. I'm going to cut a groove down there a little ways, and I'm going to slide this on there and see how it feels. And if it don't feel right, then I'll cut it down a little bit deeper, and I'll slide it on there, and I'll see how it feels. And that's basically how it's going to be done. We're going to keep it simple, stupid. We're just going to get it done. We ain't going to fuck around with it, you know. Okay, we're over here at the lathe now, and what I've done is I ground a tool bit over here that will just kind of cut a little slit into a piece of stock to accommodate the O-ring. Okay, there's nothing fancy about it. It's basically shaped very similar to a cut-off tool. Just going to plunge cut right into it. This particular piece right here I like to turn between centers because it's drilled out on both ends, and I know it's going to be straight. And basically all we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and plunge cut into it and put an O-ring right around there. Yeah, I like that. And now I think that's going to be fine right there. It fits on it just enough, and it's you know, the thing is, the only drag is going to be right there on the O-ring, and it's not going to be dragging all the way up the whole, you know, length of the thing. It just should shoot right on off of there. And hopefully that'll give me what I want, but who knows. It's fun just experimenting with different things and trying different things and seeing what'll work. Let's get it done.